Welcome back, everyone, to the Hot Mix, an InstroTek podcast. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Maurice.
And today we are bringing you another special episode like we always do when it's conference season, but it's a little more international with some culture today.
Yes, we're throwing a little Brazil into our podcast.
Brazil.
How does that sound? That
sounds great. It sounds like a great time.
We got a chance to go to this conference in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I was there for about a week with one of our distributors, and I can't tell you enough about the Brazilian people, their conference, and we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah, was this your first time in Brazil?
It was not. It was not my first time. It's my second time, but the first time at a conference for sure. Okay. And the first time presenting in Brazil in Spanish to a Portuguese audience. We're going to get to some of that.
That sounds like there's a lot of factors in that. So, I mean, obviously you had a great time. You came up, you were super pumped when you got back.
Yes.
So, I mean, what were the things that you noticed? What were the big differences industry-wise or conference-wise? What were you seeing out there?
So, okay, let's start with industry, because I think that explaining the industry and how it's set up out there would be good. Yeah, it'd be good. Really, the industry is more privatized in Brazil, right? The federal government and the states or provinces there are more driven by looking at the projects and then outsourcing almost all of the testing and everything like that. So for a company like us that deals a lot in testing, we're dealing more with private companies than here in the United States, where here we're dealing a lot with the state governments, local governments, and federal government, right? Okay. That's kind of a big part of our customer base. What I learned when I was there is that they are still, the federal government and the state government are still driving a lot of the projects, but it's really the contractors and large companies that are that put together teams, almost like I'm going to use this contractor, and I'm going to use this laboratory, and I'm going to use this paver, put it all together, and that's how we deliver the project.
So GC with all their subs.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I just think Brazil is a country that's moving forward. They're obviously looking at how to expand, especially the rural roads, getting stuff out of some of their rural areas for export. They're exporting a lot more than they ever have. They're a growing country. They're a vibrant country. Everybody knows Rio and those cities, but they have a lot of other cities that are growing at a fast pace. Sure. And they're also looking to expand and really be able to have better roads like everybody else. They know that the key is better roads lead to a better economy. That's key and fundamental to any country, and they are trying to get that technology that moves them forward. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I know when we discussed a little bit about just the trip as a whole, you were just raving about the conference.
Yes. Yeah.
And just the production and entertainment. So just let it loose about it.
Yeah. I think that someone like you at one of these conferences would have a blast, because again, fun-loving people. You throw in a little bit of industry, and then you throw in a little of great food and great alcohol, and you get this conference. This is basically what it becomes. So the conference, you go into it, right, and it's almost like you're walking into like a Hollywood production. Okay. They got the big screens, they got the entrance set up, and I'm going to show you that here a little bit. Yeah. And you walk in, and boom, you're in the conference, and it's a lot of the companies that we deal with here in the United States, but a lot of their companies too. Sure. And a lot of what drives their market is, learning how to be more efficient right now, learning how to take those next level steps to becoming a faster, better industry down there as well. Okay. So I saw a lot of like innovative companies. Like, for example, one of them was a company that's using algae to create a stabilizer for the base of roads or buildings or whatever you're building on. And it's completely natural, it's environmental, and it was amazing. The technology that they're using, they're very much into the environment, which I love. They know they have a great asset in the Amazon. Sure. And they're trying to protect as much as they can. And just the vibe was awesome. It was just a Brazilian vibe. And a lot of fun.
Vibe for the hot mix. We like it.
Yeah, it was great, Anthony. It was a lot of fun.
Did you get a chance to see some good presentations? Did you get a chance to present?
Yeah. So I didn't get to see a presentation because I was so involved in helping the people there, our distributors. By the way, the company's called Alamar. Great people, really loved being with them. Leandro Moser, it was excellent host. I actually got to do a presentation on the PaveScan, one of our favorites, right? Right. The PaveScan was a very big hit down there. And then the other product that was a very big hit was our no-nuke. Getting nuclear into Brazil is a bit of a challenge. It's been like that for a very long time. This isn't anything new. And the no-nuke, obviously being in a non-nuclear asphalt density gauge, has really started growing there with the contractors because they want to be able to have that efficiency. They want the American-made product. They know it's good quality. And so I got a chance to present on that and some of our legacy products from InstroTek, like the Core Lock, the Core Dry, our Auto Rice and Pump Saver. It was one of the most interesting presentations that I think I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
Ask me why.
Why?
Primarily because the conference hall doesn't have individual rooms. You know, like in the United States, we have individual room for presentations, right? That conference hall did not, so their partitions were basically just like black cloth. So you couldn't obviously have projected, voice or, on speaker. So everybody wore headphones. Have you ever seen those parties in the
dance parties?
Yeah,
the dance parties.
they got, everybody's just kind of dancing. You're like, what are they doing? And everybody's got it on the same tune music, and you're like, what's going on? That's what this was. It was literally that. So I'm presenting to a group of people that just have the headphones on, and I can't hear the mic. It's not projected. The voice is just right here. All I'm hearing is me in the lower level, and everybody. And I'm presenting it at a Portuguese conference in Spanish, mind you, which my Spanish is okay technically, to these people, and they're just kind of staring up at me, and I'm trying to do my whole thing. It was fun, interesting, a great experience, a unique experience for sure.
Sure.
Because the stage was beautiful. I mean, they did it right. I mean, it was like a 100-foot LED screen behind you.
Oh, wow.
So the experience was amazing. It was just really, really interesting presenting to a very quiet crowd. But I did have a few questions at the end, and that's the only way, that people engage is when they, ask you a few questions on the products. But we presented on the PAVE scan, which is a big, they're looking at that, and also our no-nuke. Huge hit down there. They're really liking what it can do. We already have a number of units down there, and the no-nuke and some other products, Core Lock, Core Dry, Auto Rice also presented on those. So great experience.
Just staying in the conference vein a little bit because I love to talk about what.
Yeah, conferences.
And I like
conference
to talk
season.
about food.
Food, yeah. Okay.
So, I need to know what was the food and the cuisine like. I mean, how did they do it?
Okay, another tip of the hat to my Brazilian friends and their conferences because the food there was unreal.
Yeah.
I have a picture of a couple of the lunches that we had. We'll throw those up here, and I can't tell you, it's all the meats you could want.
Oh.
Fresh, cooked right in front of you in a huge grill, and they give you a don't little bit of rice, a little bit of salad, some fruit. And it is.
I'm just
delicious,
in it, man. I'm in it with you.
And I'm telling you, I don't dislike our American conference food, but sometimes it can be a little lackluster. It can be just very similar. So when you go abroad and you're a meat lover, you ain't gonna get anything better.
So basically, in summary, you would say that the focus of the food portion was a big key there.
I would just go back for the food. Let's just say that. I would go back and sit at the conference and just be there with the food.
Well, from the videos I saw, of the kind of after hours portion of the conference, I think you'd go back for that too, because that looked like a lot of fun. Why don't you elaborate on that?
That was a whole nother thing, Anthony. There was literally a robotic dog walking around doing tricks. And I was just like, what is this? So here's how it goes. You get there, set up, get ready for the day, right? Right around 12 o'clock, people start rolling in, right? Business as usual. You're at your booth, you're presenting, you're doing your Anthony thing, right? Hey, what can I get you? What are you doing over here? What are you doing for that? You're being Anthony for like a good 4 hours. Right around like 3, 4 o'clock. You notice something's starting to change. And the first time I was there, I was like, oh, okay, there's beers now. I guess people are walking around with beer. I walked around, and the larger booths, a lot of the booths have full spreads with food, juices, beer, and alcohol. So they got like a full-on bar at some of these booths. Then around 6 o'clock, you start hearing this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, now you're getting into the groove, right? Now we're dancing. Now we're getting even a little bit higher environment, a little bit higher atmosphere, and it is by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it is a party. Everybody's walking around, having a good time, and I think it just keeps the industry together at the same place. And again, I guess liability isn't a big thing down there. I don't know, but it is so much fun.
Well, I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying about kind of the warmth and maybe a little bit more of the family atmosphere. Everybody staying together and getting to experience this conference out together. Especially, obviously, for somebody traveling, from the U.S., that's a huge culture change.
Yeah,
it's like you're just immersed in something completely new.
Yeah, it was. And again, it's the Brazilian people. They're so warm. They're so nice. I mean, so attentive. All they wanted to do is show me a good time as an American coming coming from the United States, right? They respect our industry. They respect what we do here, all our information. They want to know more about us.
Yeah.
They really do love Americans and our industry in particular because they can learn a lot from us. And you could see that. They were asking me questions about how we do this and that. And then I was giving it right back because I really enjoyed their atmosphere, their fun, and how bright and warm they were.
Well, great.
It was awesome.
I'm really looking forward to all the conferences that I'm about to go to. Dance parties and all this stuff going on.
It was definitely, but again, everybody was very professional still. Everybody was still there, focused on the mission, right?
Sure.
To learn, to look at new products, look at new technologies. Like I said, there was those environmental products. Those things were still on the forefront. The backdrop was, though, a good vibe at the conference that I've never felt quite like that.
Sure.
But again, you're in Brazil, so you kind of expect a little bit of that. And they came up and rose to that occasion.
They kept it hot in Brazil for you, man.
They did, man. It was hot in Brazil, yeah.
Well, that's awesome, and we thank you all so much for being with us today, and thanks for all your support as always. And just remember to keep it hot.
Keep it real.
Keep it real hot.